Youth Ministry Nation, it's AC.
Scare the fish.
This is Kurt.
Scare the
We
fish.
are in the cabin. Let's talk youth ministry.
Dude, I love this place. I want to come to our kids' ministry studio every day of my life.
This is what happens.
Fishing poles. I said to you, I wonder if they have a fishing pole in their prop set.
This is what happens when you go to the
they
bathroom for a few minutes and you come back and you're ready to ready to go.
Sorry, dude. I apologize. I just couldn't pass it up. I love this place. All right.
Yeah, we're back in the cabin, man. I love it.
What were these? I
snacks,
had breakfast, or I had coffee today with two youth pastors from New Zealand.
Oh, okay.
And they left me, they say this is like a classic New Zealand candy.
Oh, wow.
It's chocolate-covered, pineapple-flavored marshmallows. Chocolate-covered, pineapple-flavored marshmallows.
Oh.
Decent.
That's
Nice
good.
and light, right? You feel like you could eat about 50 of them without doing damage to your
But
body.
I feel like if they're starting to get sweet, so I probably get tired of them. Like,
Oh, man.
hurt my stomach.
I'm not a sweet guy, and I'm not tired of them. I've eaten about 35 of these things today.
Well, my stomach
You done already?
kind of like crazy, so I
Oh,
can
okay.
finish it.
All right.
How are you? Good?
I got marshmallow in my mouth. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Awkward Conversations,
How are you?
part 1. I'm good. So, we're back on the show today.
Yep.
And the last show we talked about, you gave us kind of like digged into your bag of 25 years of ministry experience and gave us great content last week. The last one we talked about, though, we kind of dabbled on it a little bit more. I can't remember.
Which one was it?
I can't remember the question that you were answering, but
Yeah.
I remember we got off into a conversation of the youth worker that feel like they're hitting the ceiling. They're doing everything that they can to do what
They're discouraged.
they're discouraged, frustrated. They
Yeah.
feel like they're doing they're meeting the standards, but just not getting any love. Just feeling a little kind of like
Gotcha.
things aren't working.
Yeah.
So I thought we'd spend today, give just 2 tips for that youth worker, 2 tips apiece for that youth worker that's just feeling a little bit like, okay, what do I do now?
Okay.
What's happening?
Yeah.
And what do I do now? So
Okay. So you go, then I'll go, then you go, then I'll go.
yeah,
But before we do that, if somebody wants to subscribe to the show, to the video podcast, there's a little button someplace here that says subscribe. We got new subscribers almost every day. Almost every day we're getting new subscribers. Awesome. That's very fun. Also, if you want to send us a youth ministry question, you can send us a question or a topic idea to talkyouthministry@gmail.com.
Yep.
Talkyouthministry, all spelled out, at gmail.com. And we would love to answer any questions people have. Today, we're just going to talk about some tips on what to do when you're feeling discouraged, when things aren't clicking, maybe there's a little bit of conflict.
Yeah.
How to handle those tough seasons.
Yeah.
Right? Awesome. Okay, jump in.
Okay, my first tip would really be to just lead with grace in this situation. I think a lot of times it's so easy to, paint that person or that leader as the enemy, as the person who is trying to destroy my life or not make ministry as fun as it was once before because everything you do is wrong. Or I would say lead with grace for that person because you just never know where they are in life. You never know. You may be reading things a little bit wrong. This could be their personality. This could be how they function, and they've never had to really work in a setting like this, a setting where, things aren't as crystal clear as if it was like in the corporate world where there's like, so I always say just kind of like lead with grace. It's something that I try to do in all circumstances, whether it be with a disgruntled parent or, a leader. It's just to lead with grace and know that they're coming from a situation just the way that you are. And I try and understand that so that my response fits what's actually going on. And I don't allow the devil to take me on this road trip that the world is against me. And, and there's no hope other than, well, I just got to take it for myself, or I just got to, tell them how I really feel, or because I think when you do that, you begin to say things, do things that at the end of the day, you may look back and go, oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Right.
Once all the cards are played out and, you get an opportunity to hear their heart, you look back and then you got to apologize for a lot of stuff that you have said and done. I would say take a moment and just lead with grace for that person and say, okay, I want to really know where they're at. And sometimes that means you kind of like sharing your heart,
right,
and allowing them to hear that, and then hearing their response. So lead with grace.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, there's that classic book. It's an older book now, 10 years old maybe or more, 5 Dysfunctions of a Team.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest dysfunction of a team, it's like the pillar that everything else is built on, is lack of trust.
Yeah.
And when there's a lack of trust, then you don't assume the best in each other.
Yeah.
Right? If you and I don't trust each other and we're in, excuse me, I'm burping up pineapple flavored marshmallows.
You want a little bit more?
No, I'm good. Suddenly it's working against me all of a sudden. But if you and I don't trust each other, then I don't assume the best in you because I don't trust you.
Yeah.
So I assume the worst, that you have bad motives, or that you're out to get me, or you're trying to work me over, or whatever, right?
Yep.
So I think if you can lead with grace, assume the best, that's good. Another thing for me is I've just come to learn that there's usually, not always, but usually when I'm feeling frustrated or disgruntled, or maybe it's not even disgruntled as much as it is just the wheels are spinning. I can't get traction. Things just aren't clicking in my ministry. What I've learned is it's almost always in one of 3 places. So I try to look honestly at one of 3 places. One is to look at my systems and my structures, right? I mean, maybe I'm just frustrated because our small group structure is broken. Yeah. Right? And I just need to look at the structure. I need to look at the systems. I need to look at another place I need to look at is to look at the people around me. Yeah. Sometimes I'm frustrated because I'm in conflict with you, or somebody on my team isn't pulling their weight, and other people are having to pick up the slack, and I'm frustrated at the people. And then I look at myself. Right, and if I was a healthy leader, I'd probably say I should look at myself first before I look at others. Right, but that's not like an order of checklist. Yeah. But those are the 3 things: is look at the systems, look at the people, and then look at myself, because there is oftentimes something going on personally that's causing me to be frustrated. Right, I mean, if my wife and I are in conflict, most of us, myself for sure, I carry that into the workplace. And I'm just not feeling it with you, but really it's because something's going on with me. Yeah. If I'm not spending time with the Father, if I'm not in the Word, that's something broken in me. And so if you can just look at those 3 places, most of the time, now it doesn't mean fixing it's easy. It doesn't mean you'll necessarily know how to fix it. But usually when you're frustrated, when things aren't clicking, when there's something going on, you can pinpoint it. It's somewhere in the organizational structure or the systems. It's something on your team, or it's something with you as the leader. Yeah.
No, that's good, dude. My next one would be to talk it over. Talk the situation through with someone that you know is unbiased and would be neutral, and someone who would just flat out tell you the truth, the honest truth. I feel like there is a natural gravitation towards pride in leadership. I don't think it's a bad thing or a good thing. I think it's just something that automatically happens. And we know pride, taking pride in something is not necessarily a bad thing. But at the same time, you're still kind of like exalting your self-accomplishment. Sometimes that can play on you. Yeah. And sometimes that can make you feel like you are in the right when you're really in the wrong. Yeah. And because you feel like, I've been doing this and I've been doing that. And sometimes pride just begins to win over, and it's so easy for you to cross over that bridge to where you are becoming prideful. Right. And that is never a good thing. Right. And so having that neutral person there really speak to you truthfully and tell you, no, you're not in the right now. Yeah. Like you have allowed yourself to cross over into the wrong. Even if, let's just say that your boss is a jerk, that your boss is, but you've allowed yourself
You would never say that.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No, but maybe that is the case, and sometimes we allow ourselves to go there, and then we become in the wrong, and then it's just a mess. So it's better if you can get someone that is going to tell you the truth no matter what, and really, bring that up. Like, don't allow that pride to destroy you from the inside out, because it will do a work on you like nothing else, and it will have you up in arms about everything and everybody. Now you're looking at other people who aren't even in it that are saying, "What's that about?"
It's tough to find somebody who loves you enough to be honest with you and tell you hard truth.
Yeah.
Who's also willing to tell you the hard truth. Because some people, they love you so much, but they just can't bear to hurt you, to hurt your feelings, or they're unwilling to point out a flaw or a weakness. And you need somebody who's got that unconditional love for you, who's also willing to say, "Hey, man, you know I love you, but this is on you, or you're overreacting, or you're being prideful." Yeah. What would you say to somebody who says, "Well, as a pastor in a church or a youth pastor, I can't unload that stuff on somebody in my congregation. I can't. I got to hold that to myself because it's not fair to share that with somebody else. It's not their burden." How would you?
Well, I would say for me, people that I would do that to have no real ties with what's going on here. That person is really sitting out on a limb, having no ties with anyone,
which does help them be objective.
Yeah,
because they're not close to the situation.
They're
not
not close to the situation.
They got no stake in the game,
and they know me.
Right.
I think as a believer, if you do not have that person in your life, regardless to whether you're in ministry or not.
So my 7th grade guys, small group, probably not so much.
Definitely.
I use Wednesday nights. Guys.
Guys, before I get into the lesson,
I need some insight.
I need some insight on things. Hitting with a Power Ranger. No. But finding someone, I think, regardless of whether you're in ministry or not, you need to have someone that's going to hold those checks and balances, because we're some people may not, as leaders, may not like to admit it, but we're just as broken and we're just as flawed as everyone else, and we don't always catch it. And unless you have some people that are holding the line for you, that will go to that line and really be like, dude, you need to really check yourself, because I can see multiple times where you are not where you would want to be.
Right.
And so,
and they'll tell you, "Hey, you're right.
Yeah. And
you need to fight for this, and you need to." There's the other side, right? Where somebody says,
I've found youth pastors who have reached out and said, "Hey, can I talk to you about something?"
Right.
There's a lot of different youth pastors on social media. I see them post things, and other youth workers will be like, "Inbox me," and right there you've created someone who's out of your contacts that could speak into your situation.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good.
That's why people like watching podcasts like this and like the Download Youth Ministry Show with Doug and Josh and Katie, is because they can ask a question and get honest feedback from somebody who isn't invested emotionally into the situation. For me, I think another one would be kind of, let's take it all the way to the edge and go, man, I've had conversations with the person. I've checked the systems. I've checked myself. I've got this, everything. I've done everything. Yeah. I think at some point it's okay if your ministry is marked by turmoil. Yeah. And I'm not talking about just a season or a rough spell with somebody, but you just can't get it right. Yeah. You can't. The relationships aren't clicking. The ministry's not moving forward. You don't feel valued, and you've done the checks, and you go, you know what? It's not just I don't feel valued. I don't think I am valued, or whatever, right? I think I would encourage youth workers, volunteer, part-time, full-time, with the reality that it's okay to remove yourself from a situation. Yeah. Now, I would never do it lightly, and I trust that everybody watching or listening prayed before they took that position, so I would assume you're going to pray before you would step out. Yeah. If God called you in, I would wait until you feel like he's calling you out. Yeah. But sometimes we're afraid to even we're afraid to even entertain the possibility because we just feel like that's, we feel guilty for it's a cop out. Yeah. And in our heart of hearts, I think we usually know if it's a cop out or not. Yeah. And we also know when it's time. Yeah. And sometimes we stay longer than we should out of guilt or out of a sense of like commitment that some sense of commitment that is stronger maybe than it needs to be. Because the reality is if you should be
things
leaving,
are going to fall apart if I leave.
Right. Or I said I'd be here for 6 years, I've only been here for 4 or whatever. Yeah. Sometimes, though, when it's time to leave and you stick around, even though that's admirable from a commitment side, you could be doing the ministry harm, right? I mean, God might want to be doing something different and fresh in that ministry and in you. And relationships are tough. And oftentimes relationships break, and a youth worker with a church is a relationship. And sometimes those relationships need to part company. I wouldn't do it lightly. I would go to my objective person and get their input. I would pray about it. I would allow God to give me a sense of peace on my way out, just like he was giving me a sense of peace on my way in. But I think there comes a time where ministry is going to be tough. Ministry is going to be hard. It goes back to what I said last week about sometimes we're a little bit entitled, sometimes we whine. I'm not talking about that. Yeah. My job is hard. Your job is hard, right? It's tough. It's hard work. There's times I wish I wasn't doing it, but it's awesome. Mm-hmm. I have the best job in the world, right? Yeah. And ministry should be fruitful and fulfilling, and we should put our head on the pillow at the end of the day going, man, I'm tired. Yeah. Man, that was a rough day. But I love this place. I love Saddle. I love our church, bro.
To be honest, I would be worried if everything is always peachy keen.
Yeah, it means you're probably not.
And everything is cool and there is no turmoil or you're not going through anything, because that means something may not be clicking. It's okay. I think it's okay if there are some things that are going on, and you just need to know that that's ministry. It's ministry, and sometimes
I have talked to an oddly high number of youth workers who have said, in effect, I would never choose to go to this church. Yeah. If I didn't work here, my wife and I, we wouldn't attend here. Yeah. I don't like the style of music. I don't like the preaching. I really don't even trust the pastor. If I wasn't getting a paycheck, I wouldn't. To me, if those are honest feelings, then you need to move on.
You need to move on.
The pastor deserves to have a staff member, a youth pastor, who would be there joyfully, who trusts them, who loves them. And by the way, youth workers deserve to serve at a church they trust and they love.
Totally. And I think ultimately, for me, I have people who are, Josh, he's my boss. I report to you. But ultimately, I'm in ministry because God has called me to ministry. And that's the ultimate, that's my ultimate go-to, is that, yes, I have people who are over me and who support me but ultimately I'm in this for the fact that God has called me to this. I feel like he's given me gifts, and this is a place where he wants me to be. Yeah. And if that is if that's my outlook, then yes, I may not see eye to eye with people. Yeah. I may not. I really need to check that, because at the same time, my boss has called me to ministry.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And so you really, I love how you say, if you do leave, don't do it lightly. Make sure you pray. Make sure you kind of all your checks and balances in place. But just know that you're really in ministry because God has called you to this. And to bow out because of disagreement, to allow those things. Now, I think genuinely, as you were saying, maybe it's just time for you to move on, and which is totally cool. Right. But at the same time, know that you're called to a higher calling than just work. Right. Than just to the church. Right. You've been called to ministry.
It should be tougher for us to walk away from our ministry job than it would be for us to walk away from a job at Taco Bell. Totally. Right? But we can't be afraid to walk away. Totally. So, to wrap it all up, if things are going goofy, if you're in conflict, if you're spinning your wheels, you're not getting traction, if you have to talk to somebody, lead with grace, assume the best. Mm-hmm. Have somebody who's an honest listener and an objective voice in your life who can help you navigate that. Go through a few little checks. Look at the system, look at yourself, look at your team, see if you can identify maybe there's a source in there. And don't be afraid to transition if you need to. That's about it.
Yeah. Also, you might want to grab you some chocolate-covered...
Those solve all problems.
marshmallows.
Whatever conflict you're sensing right now, AC.
I know. I felt like...
It's about to disappear.
Of calm and cool right
How's
now.
that?
Give me that fishing pole. No.
All right. See you guys.
See you guys.
I love this thing, dude. Oh, man.